Hey guys, Michael here. Renowned for its lunacy and open-world gameplay, Saints Row III was the game that transitioned the series from kinda crazy to full-on hey we've got a dildo bat and gimps levels of ridiculousness. Following that rambunctious circus act less than 2 years later, Saints Row 4's intentions seem clear. Crank the insanity up to 12 and deliver an even stupider package covered in the Saints' iconic purple hue. However, has rationing up the zaniness caused the lever to rebound and swing back in the opposite way? Find out here in this review of Saints Row 4 for the PS3, Xbox 360, and PC.
Do a barrel roll!
Spin this ship, damn it!
Conquering substantial territories one after another has eventually led to the Saints ransacking the White House, filling it with purple, and taking over America in a more presidential sense. Presidency led to a bigger target on the gang-turned-politicians, allowing an alien race known as the Xen to invade and hold humanity hostage in their simulation of Earth. The elected Saints must figure out a way to fix things and save humanity. An alien invasion feels like a natural progression for the series, but this threat doesn't go beyond an intriguing premise. The boss, that's you, must free the other members of the Saints and stop Zinyak, the Xen's nefarious and hilarious leader. That's it. It's overly simplistic and doesn't really evolve over the course of the game. Because of this, the overall plot can feel monotonous at times, scarcely finding new ways to dig up interest to keep trekking on. Mission structure definitely contributes to the plot's dry, boring feel. Given that the objective is actually a mission, some of them are just activities, they usually just boil down to the same collection of tasks. Kill aliens and defend something valuable. Anything can be broken down to sound bland, but Saints Row 4's approach pulls back the curtain and reveals how bare bones each mission is. Its self-aware attitude even reflects this. In the many times you are asked to do something overly video gamey, the characters will often mock the action. I get the humor in it, but you're still making me do the menial tasks, so who's the joke really on here?
You believe it is actually just an arbitrary number that sounded good at the time to the system creator.
But can it ever just be 2? Or 1? Or none?
Saints Row III was a fine game, but Saints Row 4's blatant copy and pasting makes the game far less memorable than its predecessor. The Saints have returned to Steelport from the last game, which is, on the whole, the same city, albeit in a simulation. Simulation or not, this is inexcusable because of that sense of discovery through absorbing a new world has completely vanished. You've been here before. You've slayed men with an auto-tuned pimp here before. There was no real reason to return. It's a nice place, but I wouldn't want to live there, or, at least have another game in the same exact city. The returning setting is the biggest offender when it comes to borrowed elements, but that isn't where Saints Row 4 stopped stealing. Jokes and situations that were clever and funny in the last title return, and, as any comic knows, repeating a punchline never hits as hard the second time. The HUD and a handful of other activities are also recycled, meaning you are doing the same things in the same setting, just in a new game. Sequels that keep elements from the prior games are expected, but Saints Row 4 holds on to far too many aspects in a clingy sort of way. Bringing that many elements, however, does carry some positives over too. The Saints still find themselves in hilarious predicaments, ones that I won't spoil for you, but are indeed worth a juvenile chuckle or two. The writing doesn't seem nearly on point as it once was, but they throw enough comedy darts at the dartboard to have enough of them successfully hit the target. Expect some toilet humor coupled with some genuinely funny, creative moments.
You're not wearing pants.
This just got weird.
A little bit.
Can I fly now?
Knock yourself out.
Voice acting also maintains the series' signature style, with some solid, convincing work done by each of the contributing actors. Zinyak, the villain, is underutilized, but shows up in some grand ways that make him one of the most interesting faces in the game. He could have been so much more, but his booming, tantalizing voice mocks the player in a way that made me hungry for more punishment. Audio design, specifically licensed tracks at key moments, was another handed-down facet that each game boasts better than almost any other title out there. Instances like these are ones best left up to personal discovery, but rest assured that they are spectacular because of the perfect fusion of song choice and the action on screen. Remember when the power clap chimed in on the radio as you hopped from the helicopter in Saints Row III? Yeah, we'll now expect it a few more times, but with just as much awesome. The curtain call at the end of the game might even be one of my favorite scenes in recent memory, all thanks to its stupidity and Montel Jordan. The in-game radio deserves its share of positive energy too, as it compiles various tunes from different genres that has more hits than flops. It doesn't cover some genres like heavy metal, but it makes up for it in dubstep, hip-hop, and classic tracks. Every good licensed soundtrack ideally balances two things, showing you songs you love and introducing you to new songs that you didn't know you loved. Comfortably driving to Outkast's Bombs Over Baghdad was delightful, but hearing new tracks by Plush Pavilion, among many others, was a standout moment while cruising around. The radio also plays in and out of the useless vehicles, so you'll almost always have a source of tunes. The original composition is also noteworthy, especially if you are into electronic or hip-hop music. Music like this finds its moment and fits so well. Even the remix to one of America's most recognizable anthems. Saints Row, of course, turns it into a jam worthy of being played at high volume. It has taken me a fair bit of talking to finally get to the important part of the game, actually playing it. Whereas old Saints Row titles could dismissively be pinned to being a Grand Theft Auto clone, Saints Row 4 can, in the same way, be reductively pushed into being a Crackdown or prototype ripoff. The Saints have been introduced to superpowers through glitches in the simulation, something that heavily factors into how you play the game. Cars are now useless pieces of window dressing because of the speed and simplicity of gliding and super sprinting. Offensive powers are also included, from super stomps to fireballs, and each is upgradable through addictive orb collecting around the city.
Breakdown.
On a base level, these powers are passable because of how they help out in the combat and traversal, but each has a minor drawback built in. Super jumping, gliding, and running are all excellent rushes, but niggling issues like getting stuck on small pieces of geometry is really frustrating. Zipping from rooftop to rooftop and getting stuck on a pipe or a ventilation duct just kills the momentum. Auto-scaling small objects like that seen in Prototype 2 would have greatly streamlined movement, even if it is good for the most part. Little problems like this don't kill the overall feel. Traversal is still great, but these drawbacks slightly damper movement. Offensive powers are invented because of the amount of options you have at any given time. If you completed the related side quests and collected enough orbs, you'll unlock more elements to the standard powers and improve their overall work. Throwing around ice balls and using telekinesis is fun, but it can be frustrating to get caught in an animation and not be able to quickly switch between your powers and guns. Instead of feeling integrated, firearms and superpowers can feel like completely different systems that don't talk to each other. Getting trapped in animations isn't exclusive to the powers though, as getting juggled around and ragdolled is still one of the most infuriating things in the game. Your animations can get interrupted rather easily, and it can be all too simple to get helplessly bounced around from enemy to enemy even after you've bought the no ragdoll upgrade. Getting robbed of control is quite maddening. Shocking, I know.
Sure, okay. Still doesn't explain the balloon part.
Because they're not turned on?
She doesn't know, does she?
Not that she'll admit it.
I won't dance around it. Saints Row 4 feels like an expansion pack. A good expansion pack, but not one worthy of holding a full-price numbered sequel. Far too many elements are borrowed, which is only excusable to a point. Saints Row 4 finds that point and pushes it just a hair past the point of comfort. Almost all of Saints Row 4's positives can be attributed to the success of Saints Row III, a game that slightly outshines its successor in just about every way. While the former president had some good qualities in the last term, piggybacking off his coattails isn't a great way to kick off your first term in office. Saints Row 4 gets a 7.5 out of 10. It's a good game, but had its issues. Of course, you can read the whole text review on the site. I only wish Saints Row would have been pushed back more, taking more time, or just been pushed to next gen. I feel like they just kind of got pushed to push this game out the door. So, with that said, I love you guys, and thanks for all the support, and goodbye.
What you gonna do now? Look at me, fool. Look at me. Look at me when you die. I could do this all day. You ain't balling now, huh? You ain't balling now. Fool, I'm a maniac. I can't be stopped.
And it sounds like two Transformers having sex.